Welcome back to Their Side. Thanks everybody for joining us. It's been a while. We're very lucky today to have someone in the studio, Efi. I can't tell you his full name because apparently nobody knows him as that. So we're just going to be interviewing Efi today. Welcome, Efi. Thanks for coming in and joining us today.
No worries, mate.
Now, first of all, big hard-hitting question. Why are you known as Efi?
Oh, long story, but we'll make it really short.
You've got 2 hours.
Yeah, that's okay. We'll probably take 2. I got it from before I started skating, I was playing cricket, and the 40-hour famine was up, and the Ethiopians were all in there. They had Live Aid, and I'm sitting there. I was playing cricket on the field with a short T-shirt, and this guy looks at my elbows and goes, "You've got elbows like an Ethiopian, fat at the bottom and thin at the top." And he started calling me Efi. Right. Ethiopian, and it started to Efi, it got shrunk, and that was in primary school. When I get to high school, the same guy that was calling me at cricket was at high school, and he started calling me, and it's such a catchy name that everyone started calling it to me. And then I moved schools, and then another guy I played cricket with started calling it.
And you liked it? Like you
man, it didn't bother me. A name's a name. It's better than calling some of the other stuff I've been called in my life.
That's true. I guess probably back then it was a little bit less politically correct.
Yes.
Maybe.
Yes, but it's now Efi, so it's not Ethi. Ethi would be with like Ethiopians. Efi, extra fucking intelligent.
I think you might be stretching it there. So, what proportion of people do you think actually know that's why your name is your name?
Not many.
Not many.
None.
There you go.
A lot of people think it's my real name.
It's not. Well, I wanted to use his real name, but he didn't want to use his real name. I think
no one knows it.
He's probably going to turn into like a symbol like Prince at some point. So listen, Efi contacted me and asked if he could come on Their Side, and it's not because we're scraping the bottom of the barrel or anything like that. We had a jolly good chat about why he wanted to be on Their Side, and I think there's a really good reason for that, and we're going to get to that later on today. So I really appreciate you coming on, mate.
That's cool.
So tell us all about life before skateboarding.
Life before skateboarding. Before skateboarding, I lived in Forest Road, Furniture Gully with my dad and my brothers and sisters. First memories, like my mum left us.
Who was in your family?
Like, I got 3 sisters, 1 brother.
Yep.
And my mum left around about when I was 10 years old, and my youngest sister was 1.5.
Yeah, right.
Okay, and then my grandparents came and looked after us every second week. So my dad worked 5 days a week. On Saturdays he'd go shopping. He'd drop me off at cricket, and then he'd go do the shopping at Franklin's.
Yeah.
Remember Franklin's?
Franklin's.
Black and white labels.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and then he'd come back and pick me up on the way home. So then I'd go home, and then.
So you were 10, and where did Mum go?
Mum just walked out, just left us. But she found another partner and just left, and I had nothing much to do with her for a few years. But my grandmothers were their saviours of my family. Yeah, they would come and swap over every week. One would live with us because she lived in Balwyn. Yep. So she couldn't drive. She never drove. So she would sleep on the couch for a whole week. Which my dad would pick her up on a Sunday, and she'd cook us breakfast, make sure we went to school, go cook us dinner, do all that. And then on a Friday night, Dad would drive her back to Balwyn, or my grandfather would come and pick her up. Yeah. And then the next week, other grandmother lived in Baronia, and she used to come every morning, 6 o'clock. Dad would leave. She would cook us breakfast, make sure we went to school.
So both grandmas kind of hooked up together and sorted it out.
I don't know how it went. I was only 10. Yeah. But they literally came every second week. They took it in turns without fail.
That's amazing.
I still can't. It would have been a good 4 years, and then once we got older, Dad started to employ people to come in mornings and at night to cook dinner. Then Dad would come home from work, and dinner would be ready for us, and then they would go and. Then once in a while, then we had other people. My sisters and brothers and sisters used to go stay at people's houses after school care, and I was old enough to stay home. And then when that was all happening, I met a friend, Matt. I was sitting in one day in front of a fence down the road, and this lady comes out and goes, "I've got a son about your age. Yeah, right. You should meet him, mate. That's my best mate, Frad."
Yeah, okay.
We were riding BMXs every day. Well, and then this is how my skateboarding career started.
Yeah.
Not career.
So before the skateboarding, what sort of things were you into? So
We
you
were
were
doing,
into
I was playing cricket on a Saturday.
Yeah.
But then
Were you silly mid on?
no, man, I was everywhere.
You were silly.
I would just chase the ball.
Right.
I just chased
Did
the
you
ball.
have a position that you played? In
No.
cricket? No.
No, I thought I was a batsman. Thought I was a wicket keeper. I thought I was everything.
Were you any of those?
None of it.
None of it, really.
I was hopeless.
And so you played cricket, and that
Yep.
was kind of like a stable thing that was
Yep.
going on for you at the
Yeah,
time.
we had great stability in my family.
Yeah.
Thanks to
Despite
mum, despite mum leaving, but we had a I had a great childhood with, like, in the circumstances you look back and go, that was so hard for my family.
Yeah.
Especially my dad, my grandparents. I had a stepmother come in. My dad found a partner. Stepmother came in. She started taking over some of the role.
Yeah.
She had a hard task.
Yeah,
She
wow.
had 2 children herself.
Wow, it's like the Brady Bunch.
Yeah, she had 2 children herself, and then to take a role of trying to be a mother figure for 5 of us,
Yeah.
and I kind of resisted. And me and her, I had a few.
As you normally would, I
Yeah,
reckon.
and I admit that I was a prick.
You're a bit of a turd.
I was a turd.
So if mum leaves at 10,
Yep.
right, and you've got all your younger siblings there, I'm assuming dad's like, what the fuck, and kind of got his emotional stuff going about it as well.
I don't know how my dad did it, but he never showed. He just soldiered. My dad's tough.
Yeah.
Like I never saw any emotion out of him. Must have kept it hidden. He probably spoke to other people, but we were young, and I just was a kid. Now I look back and go, being an adult and living life, you go to yourself, that was one hard job, and he did it amazing. He had support, but I've everything to my dad.
In some ways, you're really unlucky with what happened with mum, but you're also lucky with sort of stable people.
I was very lucky with the stability of my dad, my grandparents, and family, and that showed very much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you know? So mum left, right? Do you know what was kind of going on for mum back then in the time? Like what was happening in her sort of headspace?
No idea.
No idea.
No. Mum was always a bit not there.
Okay.
Yeah, she was always not really around that much when I was growing up. Like she was there to cook dinner, but I was going to school. I don't know what was going on, but mum was never really a mum. Mum used to get angry really quickly.
Okay.
And I used to get beaten up a lot, and I have no idea why. Like broke a wooden spoon.
But your mum would.
Yeah, broke a wooden spoon on me, then broke a plastic spoon. It's pretty hard to talk about this, but
Yeah.
I think it's a part of what happens later on in life to why it brought me to where I am, and the toughness I've kind of brought myself and the falls I've had in my life.
Yeah. I think it's in this kind of thing when we're talking about people. Obviously we want to talk to people about skateboarding.
Yeah.
Yeah. But we want to talk to people more than about skateboarding.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of story in the future that I can bring some light, and hopefully we bring some lightheartedness, and we bring some help.
But I think it's important to understand kind of sometimes where people come from.
Yes.
Why skateboarding is really appealing to them.
Yeah. So, yeah.
So mum left, dad looked after you, your grandparents looked after you. You met Frad?
Yeah.
Yeah?
We were riding BMXs in the park across the road.
What a BMX did you have?
My grandmother bought me a hardtail.
A hardtail?
Yeah.
What's that?
It was called a hardtail. It was from
it a
Kmart.
mongoose or
A Kmart.
Okay, yep.
Kmart. It was green.
It was green. Do you have tufts?
No.
Just
no, I
spikes?
got tufts later on.
All right.
Yeah. So we would ride, and then about 85. Get the 80s and the 90s kind of went in my head wrong.
It's a long
85.
time ago, man.
I know. Frad got this skateboard for his birthday. It was a Redstone Destroyer. He was skating it. I was riding my bike.
What sort of graphic did it have on it?
It had Destroyer on it, and then it had like bricks falling, and it was like, it was kind of a takeoff of the.
Is it a Kmart-y kind
It
of
was
job?
like, yeah.
Like the Executioner and all those.
Yeah. It was one of those.
If anyone's got a picture of a Destroyer, can you pop it up?
There's one in Melbourne somewhere. I saw it on eBay a few years back.
Yeah.
Mint condition, and I saw it, and it said sold, and it only sold an hour before it. I would have bought it.
Spewing.
Yeah. So his bearing seized or something like that. So his brother rang Redstone and said, the skateboard's dead. So next thing we know,
Skateboard's dead.
yeah. So next thing we know, there was a delivery and there's a whole new skateboard plus parts. So he had 2 skateboards.
Wow.
So I ended up riding Frad's skateboard.
So you got the one with the seized bearing,
Oh yeah, but they got new bearings.
did they?
Yeah, they got new bearings. So we started skating out the front of the street. We'd already been making quarter pipes and all that out of lino on top of
told me
steel on
this.
top of lino.
Steel on
So
top of
so you get Rio mesh,
Yeah.
had all these boxes, and then we had put the mesh down, and then we put the lino on it so you could roll on it.
Are they the early Efi transition plans?
Oh no, no.
I've never heard of anyone with lino on their skate. So lino was the top surface?
Yeah.
Wow. Was
Yeah.
it slippery?
It was slippery and it was slow and it was deadly if you went through it. It was like we had to put a fair few layers of it on.
Yeah, right.
But it was up his driveway.
Yeah, okay.
So it was in his driveway, and that's how we started skating. And then we started upgrading skateboards, and then there's more people in the neighbourhood started turning up. My next door neighbours, Graham and Stewart, started skating. Then we got Marcus, Maxim, Mickle, Nance.
Was this at Frad's house?
This is at Frad's house. He had a concrete tennis court.
Oh,
So
Posh.
and they never used it for tennis.
really?
Yeah, yeah. So we could build ramps on it.
Oh, that's
We were building ramps, street courses, and then we'd travel every once in a while. We'd go to Ringwood Bowl because it was the only skate park to get to.
That big monster.
That was a
thing,
big
like
monster
14
thing.
feet high. Or
Yeah. Oh, I think it was about 12, but it was a big snake run going down into a keyhole.
Yeah.
It was like a bit like Doveton. Found that out years later. We went there, but Doveton had a kink. But and then we travelled to Paran.
Yeah.
Yeah, we travelled to Paran.
Where were you at the time?
I was in Forest Road.
Right. Okay.
So, yeah, I
Was
was-
that in Baronia?
In Furch Gully.
How far is it from there to Paran?
Paran, first train.
First train?
Yeah, it was an hour a train, and then a tram from the city, or you'd catch another train down to South Yarra or Hawkesburn, and then skate
Yeah.
to the skate park.
So what year are we talking about here, Efi?
That was about 96, 97, 86, 87.
86, 87.
Oh man, it's 86, 90s. I'm just gonna get it wrong all day.
Blurry, isn't it?
It's all I just get my voice gets.
So 86, 87, you're on your big chunky Kmart.
No, we'd
you'd
started up.
upgraded.
Oh no. So yeah, my dad bought me Christmas 85.
Yep.
Dad bought me my own skateboard.
What did you get?
Oh, I got a AP.
AP.
An AP.
Cool.
Yeah. From Kmart. So I got my own board from then, and then we were.
Could Dad see that you were into it?
Oh,
like,
Dad
wanted
saw I
to
was into
support
it. Only skateboard he ever bought me.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. After that, I was doing paper rounds and stuff like that to get more money, and would go down to Mecca Shoes, and then they started bringing in airwalks and skateboards and stuff like that. So I started.
So it was a shoe shop.
It was a shoe
started to
shop,
have
and he
skate
saw
stuff in it.
skateboarding starting to boom.
Okay.
So he jumped on the bandwagon.
Your dad did?
No.
Oh,
This
guy did,
guy
right.
for Mecca Skates. He held skate competitions and all that in the years after. But he saw skateboarding coming up, and he's like, yeah. So we used to go down to Baronia from Frederick. It was only like 10-minute ride.
Yeah.
Go hang out there, and we started upgrading parts. I think my first pro board was a Schmidt stick.
Which one?
I think it might have been a Chris Miller.
With the dog on it? No.
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 I can't remember my first pro deck. It might have even been a hand-me-down from Frad.
Could have been.
Yeah, could have
He did
been.
it before.
I've a lot of hand-me-downs from Frad.
So what sort of stuff were you skating back then around where you were? at home?
Primary school.
The primary school. What was it, primary school?
Pardon?
What was it, the primary school?
Tennis court.
Yeah.
Not tennis court. At Frad's house mainly.
Yeah.
But then would skate the basketball court. Would ollie over with the guy. Everyone else would ollie over a bin. I would just ollie into a gutter, Nada style. I couldn't ollie high.
It's not the size of the ollie that counts.
No.
Well, that's what she said. Anyway,
But we used to have. We came up. We got a really funny story one day. One day there was like the whole crew, the whole Furniture Galley crew were walking up towards the primary school, and this car came. We're just at the primary school gate. This car flew up onto the driveway, and we're like, "Oh shit, what's going on here?" And we started walking quicker, but Marcus slowed down, and this guy goes, "Oi, Skeggs, what are you doing?" And I'm like, "Oh shit." Marcus stopped, turned around. He just smacked Marcus in the face and walked away because we had skateboards.
yeah.
That's what skating was like, man. We skate down the street and down the footpath. Bloody skegs.
It's such a weird thing to think
Yeah.
back about the skeg thing. Like, it's so weird.
Oh.
I can remember in Ballarat, we got chased down through the main street through Brash's music store by a load of bogans with like fucking tipped hair and, you know, big mullets in their roller shoes and tight fab jeans. And they just wanted to beat us up, and they called us skegs.
Do you know the funny part is?
No.
I had long hair.
Yeah.
I had tight jeans.
So you were,
I was a bogan. I was dressing
bogan
like I was
skating.
dressing like a bogan.
Yeah, but
but I had a skateboard under my arm. It made me a skeg.
I think it made you like a raging homosexual in their eyes. Like you were different, and you needed to be sorted out in some sort of way.
Oh yeah. There's still like to know. I wonder whether nowadays these guys look and go on and look back and go, I hit a skater. Like, and now skateboarding's become like what it is. Maybe it might be in the Olympics. We don't know with what the current climate is.
No, I don't think the Olympics.
I don't think the Olympics is going
It's
ahead.
funny you should say that, because there's a guy so one of these dudes that used to sort of chase you down the street, call you skeg and stuff, and try and beat you up. About 5 years later, he started his own skate shop. And my sister's like friends with him, like still on Facebook and stuff. And I just kind of, she's like, oh, you should go and buy stuff from his skate shop. I'm like, no fucking way. That guy was like a trader, you know, like he cashed in and
Yeah.
I'm bearing this grudge forever.
Yeah. So yeah, we used to catch the train, first train of the city.
Yeah.
Most on every Saturday for a long time.
Why
we'd
did
go
you get
Parade.
the first train? What's with the
To
crack
get
of dawn?
Okay, so crack of dawn, we'd get the first train. We'd go past the, we'd go past the milk bar.
Yeah.
And I'm really apologise now with not looking back, but we used to steal a loaf of bread. The bread delivery was like before they opened.
That person went broke, you know.
Oh.
They're living on the streets.
We stole a loaf of bread. I'm ashamed of it, but every week we steal a
But
loaf
it wasn't
of bread.
just you, it was every other
Everyone.
skater.
No, we shared the loaf of bread.
Oh, okay.
And that's what we'd have for breakfast on the train into Paran. We'd go to Paran because we wanted to get there early before anyone else was there, because we didn't want to. We were scared. I was scared myself of the Badlanders. Heard of them, and
What
then
did you hear? Why were you scared?
They just looked scary when we saw them. They had their vest, their cut off
Denim
jackets with patches on it, and the Badland symbol was pretty out there.
Yeah, it looked a bit heavy metal.
And it said hardcore Melbourne and all this. We're like, oh geez. So
But it's almost interesting. So how did you hear about Paran in the first place?
oh, don't know. We really don't.
funny, isn't it?
Yeah. So we'd go there, and then they'd turn up. The Badlanders would turn up, and we'd sit there and watch them skate.
Would you just go and hide behind bushes?
No,
and stuff,
no,
or
we just sit back and just watch them skate.
Just make eye
and they were
contact,
good. They were good. There was dude Travis. We called him Travis Dude. He was doing Smith grinds around the bowl.
on the top edge.
On the top edge of the round, and that was hard. My trick was
And chunky.
Yeah, my trick was when I got to be there was to go up early grab to axle stall onto these poles.
On the wooden one?
On the wooden
Yeah, on
poles.
the wooden
So I
poles,
just
yeah.
had axle stall and then fall off. That was the only thing I could do.
I think you weren't alone in that one.
Yeah. Then after that we'd go into the city, skate because after 12 o'clock, there was no late night.
Shut.
Everything's shut. So we'd go into the car parks and do toboggan runs.
Maybe that's what we can do during this virus.
Yeah.
Is just go and skate around town.
Yeah.
It's like
It's dead at the moment from what I hear.
No. As long as you do your social distancing, of which I forgot.
Oh, jeepers.
Sorry, I want to make sure that we've done this correctly. How far is that, Efi?
You've got the end that tells me. Oh, jeepers.
1.5, can you get back? Thanks.
There we go. We right?
You got any sniffles?
No.
Have you been overseas?
No.
Okay, you got a temperature?
No.
Okay, wash your hands.
Definitely wash my hands.
All right, keep going.
Cool. And then we'd go to Melbourne Surf. They were the only shop that was open later.
Yep.
And we'd hang out with Lynn, Wombat was there, and we'd watch them set up. Watch Wombat. The funniest thing was Wombat would always set up a new kid's skateboard with the truck around the wrong way.
Why?
Because he was just bored, I guess.
It just fuck with people.
Just fuck with people. So we'd go there, and then Sunday, we'd done a few trips to Melton.
Yeah.
We'd seen it in the magazine, so we did a few trips to Melton.
That's even longer because you're out.
Man, that was like it was a 3-hour, 4-hour trip, and you used to catch this, go to the city, and then catch this one blue truck. It was a blue carriage. I looked like it was held together with rivets. Diesel train. It was one carriage, and then you get to Melton, and it was nearly a 4 or 5K skate to the skate park.
Oh, it is too.
Yeah,
Yeah,
then you get to the skate park.
Get off at South Melton, don't you?
Yeah.
You had to go all the way up.
Yeah, and then we'd skate Melton, and then we'd
So we'd
have to get.
Was it open at the time?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, it was open.
Yeah,
right, all right.
yeah. It was just before it closed.
Yeah.
And then we'd have to get the next train back, and if you missed that train, you were stuffed.
Forever.
Yeah.
You're stuck in Narnia.
Yeah.
You're out that way.
One time I didn't go. The boys got stuck. They missed the train.
Oh no.
And one of them was supposed to be home really early, and had to ring his parents, and his parents had to come and pick him up from Baroni to Melton. It's a good 2-hour drive.
That's a long way.
It's a long way, and there's no freeways like it is now.
Oh no, that's true.
From Baroni, it's a long drive. So I was lucky I wasn't on that trip.
You would have got in trouble.
Yeah, I would have definitely been home before the street lights were on.
So you've done trips to, you'd go to Ringwood, you'd go to Paran, you'd go in the city, you'd go to Melton. Where else were you kind of skating at that time? Because at some point you hooked up with what sounds like with Stevie G and them.
No, that was later on. That was yeah, that was a bit later on. We would then Knox started getting built.
Okay.
And the snake run was built.
Yeah.
So they first built, Knox was done in 2 stages. They had a snake run and a small bowl.
Right.
And we would skate the small bowl with back and forth.
Back and forth. You're like
from
one transition to one transition. Back and forth.
And just go around and use it as. We wouldn't go down the whole snake run. No one would ever use it in Knox, not very often. But then
not for its fit purpose.
No,
it just got used the wrong way.
Yeah, no, we used it our way. I still think it's right. Stevie G thinks I did it wrong.
Right.
But that's Stevie G's prerogative. Even though I couldn't believe it. They're a vert. I think it's because they skated vert and went back and forth all the time. Yeah. So when they found something they could carve around, they're like something different to what they were using.
So how did that work with you guys going across this way?
It didn't.
And then those guys going that way?
It didn't work. It didn't work. It was just, yeah.
Talking cheese.
Yeah, then the big bowls open about 6 months to a year later. And
in Knox?
At Knox.
Yep.
First spine bowl. I think it was one of the first spine bowls ever built.
Yeah.
Ever built. The whole skate park was built by footpath makers. These old Italian guys only ever worked for the council and doing footpaths. They'd never seen a skate park.
Just for everyone's little bit of background knowledge on me, when I was little, I used to call footpaths poof paths. There you go. So the Italian guys that made footpaths.
Yeah, and gutters. And they'd never seen a skate park in their life.
How'd they do?
The first part was pretty bad. It had kinks at the bottom. The snake runs got kinks in the bottoms. But by the time they got to the big bowls, they did okay. It's a bit lumpy. Yeah. But for its time, it's still like what it is. Like the hip's unusable in the big bowl. But you can grind around it, but going up it and around it, but it's still there. So
I've never been there.
You never?
Nope.
I grew up there. I was there. We reached the ride, go home from
school. So were you
school.
there when, like, from day one?
Even when it was dirt.
Yeah.
When I saw it first being built, I was there when it was dirt. We rode down there. I was skating Frad's place, but we rode down on BMXs, and I did this. I went in the snake run. I'm going to jump in this snake run, and I went out the other side, and backflipped onto my back.
I landed on your
back.
Like
I didn't mean to backflip. I just looped out and went on my back.
Oh, and then totally winded yourself?
Totally winded.
How much to the ground?
A long way. And all my friends, typical, laughing.
Right. So is that where you honed your skills at Knox?
Knox.
So tell me about the Knox period.
Knox period. Well, it was big. When Knox first opened, there was a huge crew. There'd be about 50 people skating. It'd be big. There'd be big sessions there. So we'd skate and we'd ride there after school every night and then ride back, which is I think it's about 4 or 5 Ks on we had a bike track all the way. There was only a road. We had to go down one road from my street. I went down Hunt Ave, then got to the bike track all the way down to the skate park. So, and about 4 or 5 of us would do it every day.
And then like weekends, 7 days a week?
Weekends we'd be leaving, we'd get there at 9 and wouldn't leave till 10, 11 at night. We'd sit there and hang out at the skate park at night.
How old are you then, Efi?
How old? Oh, 16.
Okay, so it's like a prime kind of adolescent developmental period where you're starting to socialise, kind of being independent and
So we'd skate there every day. They had a skate comp there for the Vic titles.
Yeah.
Remember that one? There was Jason Ellis, Gregor Rankin, Tim Payne, Chris Payne, sorry.
Yep.
Gary Valentine, all them, and they had a comp in the bowl.
Yeah.
And my mates convinced me to go in it.
Yeah.
And I'm a kind of a person that when I do something, I kind of do it to the extreme.
Yeah.
So when I took up skateboarding, I was taking it up to the extreme. Like, I was trying my hardest. I wanted to be the best I could be, and I've always done it with everything I've done.
What do you think that's about? Sort of what drives you to do that?
I use a lot of things as escape. I use skateboarding as an escape from my home and life and all that. And when I'm skating, that's all I thought about, cared about. Skateboarding was, when I was on my skateboard, nothing else mattered.
Right. Like, nothing. You couldn't think of other stuff?
I didn't think of anything else. I just thought about what my next thing was.
Do you think I wonder too sometimes, excuse me, if sometimes if you're kind of good at something, or you feel like you're a bit good at something, you kind of want to do it more?
I thought I was the best, but I wasn't.
but that's different. Like, there's how you feel about yourself when you do it, and how it makes you feel versus what other people think.
Oh, yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm just trying to figure out why you're pushing yourself so hard.
I just try. To me, when I was on a skateboard, I was free.
Yeah. Okay. Free.
It's like when we went to. I've got a really funny story about going to Paran.
Right.
So we used to go to Paran a lot, and then one day we stayed back and watching the Badlanders, and then
from a distance because you're too scared.
Yeah, from a distance, and there was Sack was there.
Yep.
Willie was there at the vert ramp, and I'm watching him skate and going, geez, I've dropped in on things that on Frad's tennis court. We had little quarter pipes and stuff. God, I want to drop in. And I walked up and I'm like going, I want to drop in. Zach looks at me and goes, well, go and do it. And I'm like, it's big. Goes, just go and do it. Go and do it. So then I got on the platform, and there's Willie doing these blind grind. He called them blind Willie grinds. He'd go up and do a stand-up grind and go like this.
Wow.
And I'm like going, wow, if he could do that, I can drop in.
Yeah.
So go up to the top of the...
What's the biggest thing you dropped in on before?
Oh, 4 foot.
4 foot, okay.
Oh, maybe a 6 foot high ramp at Frad's house where I dropped in and touched nothing but flat on my face.
Okay.
And had a huge shiner.
How big was Paran at that time?
10?
10, yeah.
10, I think it was 10.
And it's old transition, so it's tight transition with a lot more vert?
Yeah, a foot of vert, or something like that. So I get up there and they're doing their grinds and that. Zach's like, go and do it. So I got all I had all pads and stuff. I think I
had your own, or so you borrowed?
I had a helmet.
Oh yeah.
So
was it a stack hat?
No,
I think that would have made.
I don't know what. But I put my board over.
Yeah.
And you know, when you like most people, when they put their board over on a first drop in, usually loop out.
Yeah.
I'm the kind of person that doesn't do that. I put my hand on my nose like I was told.
Who told you that?
Zach.
Zach's got some good advice.
Yeah,
the first thing is go up and do it. Put your nose on your board.
Yeah, I did that.
Hold on.
But the problem was, I pushed the front foot too hard.
Oh, okay.
Bang! No transition.
Ooh. So straight.
I kind of leaped. I kind of jumped. I don't know what I was thinking. I kind of jumped.
You pushed down really hard.
I pushed down really hard and bang. Gone, that didn't work. So Zach's like, going, don't do it. Just don't do it like that. Show me how to do it. I go, okay, cool. I think I've got it. Go back up.
Did they give you any other encouragement? Did they kind of...
No, I can't really remember.
Did they give you a drink or anything?
No, they gave me a beer for its courage.
Did they? Okay,
yeah.
That's good.
Yeah. They were drinking beer and I kind of... So then I went up again, did it again. Don't remember much more of the day. I landed straight to my head.
Twice.
I slammed twice.
Ooh.
But
what did they say? What did the
They were stoked with me.
Oh, really?
That I gave it a go.
Yeah, right.
And that taught me a huge lesson about skateboarding.
What's that?
That these guys were really, to me, were scary guys.
Yeah.
Because of what they are, their reputation, all that. But it showed that if you've got a skateboard, it doesn't matter who you are. If a skateboard's in your hand, you're a part of a community.
Yeah. Okay.
And that's what I learned about skateboarding. Skateboarding is a real big community, and still is.
I think that, I mean, that's a really interesting kind of event, if you like, because it's almost like it's facing your fears, isn't it?
Oh, yeah.
Not only just facing the scary, smelly Badlanders with their patches on.
And their stinky pads.
And their stinky pads with their long necks. But it's also, going up and standing on Paran and dropping in. And not only that, like fucking smashing your head and then going up in there and doing it again, and then realising that I'm still okay.
I
Like, what else could have gone wrong, you know?
I've smashed my head a few times.
I think that you probably have. But I think it's almost like a passage of rites.
Yeah.
It's like, I mean, I think, let's say the story was any different and you just dropped in by yourself, it'd still be a momentous kind of huge event.
Yeah.
You know, there's no turning back from that.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But the fact that you've kind of done all those one things in the same day is pretty important.
Yeah.
So you remember that, yeah?
I was able to go to Paran. I felt like I was able to go to Paran and not and fit in a bit better.
So you didn't go early and just skate in the morning, you just went
We were skating longer and longer every time we went.
Well, you kind of said to me the other day when we were having a chat on the phone, you said that it kind of opened the door for everyone.
Yeah.
For your crew anyway.
Yeah, our crew started because we saw no fear. Like we weren't worried. Like they're skaters too. We're all skaters.
Yeah.
So we all started skating and started.
It wasn't us and them kind of in that way. It was a bit more
and Frad was starting to really kill it. Like starting to skate really well.
So what was he doing?
He was doing big grinds and Smith grinds in the bowl.
Yeah.
He was starting to really get some stuff, and there was other skaters that we skated with that, we're starting to come along in our skating. We're starting to progress a really lot too.
Yeah.
We're all starting to progress a bit more, and maybe because we're skating every day on the tennis court, but
yeah, like if you're skating 7 days a week, 6 hours a day, every day, you know, you're going to make some progress, aren't you?
Oh yeah,
you know,
yeah.
The fact that you're not scared anymore to go there as well.
I feel sorry for Frad's neighbour across the road. He had a number plate called Haggis, and we'd be skating on the street and he'd get his hose and water us down because of the noise.
Oh, fuck.
Man, I would have hated.
Did you see the thing in the news recently where some guys put some like pieces of wood across the footpath?
But I kind of understand.
Just made people ollie it, make it noisy.
I know that, but this poor this guy that had the number plate lived on the other corner. I do kind of feel sorry for him.
Yeah.
Imagine having 8 kids out the front of your house for 4 or 5 hours a night.
I know.
And going down the street, on a hill, going down the street and doing huge slides.
Yeah.
Or grind. We dug out a part of had round gutters. The gutter went like that.
Oh.
We dug out the gutter, and we're doing grinds and that in the gutter.
On his gutter?
On Frad's side.
On the front.
Just next to his then there was a driveway. Like, so you had this dugout gutter, and we'd be doing grinds, and we had copers back then too.
Yeah.
We were running Borgie copers.
Yeah, yeah. Everything was covered in about this much nylon.
Yeah. So
it would have been a bit whispery mody if they had the Borgie copers.
It was the wheels.
But the thing is, they used to wear out super quick.
Yeah.
Didn't they? And then you just have this metal bit in between.
Yeah. So that was fun.
Yeah. What happened after that? So after that period of time, what happened then?
Okay, so Knox started. Before Knox really started, I was skating, and I changed schools. This has got a big part of what skateboarding has done. Like, this is a real big part of my skateboard. What skateboarding is, kind of, in a way, and it kind of brings things back into what we're going to talk about later. I went to another school and I stopped hanging out with my friends that I went to school with and hanging out in the neighbourhood. They all went to different schools, and I went to this other school, the tech school, and I started hanging out with some really people that I really shouldn't have associated with.
Yeah.
And I started wagging school.
Yeah, okay.
And I was living, I'd wag school and I'd ride the train back and forth all day. You used to be able to go up, get the trains. There was a single line between Upway and Upper Gully and Belgrave. Yeah. So the trains used to meet at Upway. Yeah. We used to run across and catch the next train back down. Go to Bayswater. The trains met at Bayswater. We'd run across and we'd just be riding the train back and forth.
What were you doing on the train?
Man, we were. I was drinking.
What age?
Oh, 15.
What were you drinking?
Sweet sherry.
Ooh.
I hate to. I look back.
Is that shit in the big?
No, it was 1 litres. And I was having difficulties at home.
Right.
But and I don't know how my dad put up with it.
Yeah.
Like, with me.
Yeah.
Like, I was off the rails. But then I'd
Remember
go
how you
home.
got into the drinking though? Like how?
Oh, someone just offered it to me at the
So
skate.
you-
at
so it
all
was
the
just,
trains.
like, socially
And just these people.
someone-
No, just these people I was hanging out with. A lot of them were like, we got on the train and they weren't graffiti artists. We were bogans.
Yeah.
I was a bogan, and I had a big, huge trench coat,
Okay.
And
Like a battle jacket?
a battle jacket.
Did you have did you have a patch on the back?
No, I didn't.
You just had a no branded battle
Yeah,
jacket.
Yeah, and I was drinking, smoking, hanging out with the wrong crew. Half these guys had been in and out of jail, like Tirana.
Juvenile stuff, yeah.
Yeah, and then one day I'd come home and skate, and one day Fred looked at me and goes, "What are you doing, man? What are you doing hanging out with them?"
Yeah, right.
And I'm like going, "I don't know. They're okay, he goes, mate. They're
Were they
not."
in your school, were they?
Yeah. And on the trains, hanging out with. Why are you hanging out with that guy, man? They're trouble, mate. And it's really, and then he goes. So I started. So then Fred's like going, man. We started skating more.
Okay.
And got me out of it, like got me away from that crew, from skateboarding, and then Knox opened, and that really got me right away from that crew.
Oh, okay.
That crew. They're probably all dead now, or in jail, and I was going on the life of that.
In sliding doors, it's a bit like here's the life you could have had.
Yeah. And if it wasn't for skating, and Knox being open, and I don't know where I'd be. And that's where skateboarding really. That's why I took it on so hard, because skateboarding really it brought out something better than where I was heading.
Yeah.
And
it sounds like from your conversations with your group, it gave you kind of a sense of belonging.
Yeah. And we ended up leaving. I ended up leaving that school.
Yeah.
I got suspended a few times.
Yep.
I just feel like I look back now and just go, what a shocking.
What did you do to get suspended?
For wagging, fighting,
Yeah.
smoking.
Yeah.
Just broke a window once.
Yeah.
Just stupid. And I can't even say that it was a stupid kid thing. It was just me rebelling.
Yeah.
I was rebelling against, and I look back now and I go, I had nothing to rebel against. But I was rebelling. I felt I was rebelling. But
Yeah. You had a bit of stuff though that you were
Yeah,
maybe
but-
trying to make sense of.
yeah, I know. But the whole time I can see it now. I had so much support, but I was just throwing it out. I didn't care. I was just on my own and just doing what I wanted to do, and
I think for young people though, sometimes they're not great at being able to understand their emotions or making sense of them.
Yeah.
And because they don't have a lot of coping skills at the time, they just act out and they do stuff.
Yeah. See, my dad ended up taking me once to La Trobe Uni.
Yeah.
We thought I might have been suffering dyslexia.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. And I went and did some tests there,
Yeah.
and that's how supportive my dad was.
Yeah. So he was all over
Like
it.
my dad was there, and later on, my grandparents, my stepmother,
Yeah.
so supportive, even with all the shit that I did.
Yeah.
And then I ended up Snox came along. I was skating heaps. Went and lived with my grandmother.
Yep.
My mum's mum. Take pressure off Dad,
Yeah.
because Dad had 5 of us.
Yeah.
So I went and lived with my grandmother for a while and my uncle, and then so Dad just because my grandparents had stopped looking after us, and Dad was paying for all this, and I was rebelling a bit. Still rebelling a bit with skating and all that.
Sounds like they thought you needed a little bit more one-on-one.
Yeah, so I went and lived with my grandmother and my uncle. Didn't skate that much because I was out of the neighbourhood, but skated on the weekends.
Yep.
Type of thing. Went and saw some demo. Skating was still big.
What year is this?
This is in the 90s, early 90s.
Yeah. Had Vert died?
Skating had started to die.
Yeah.
Skating had started to die. Then
How did you know that?
Huh?
From your
Just-
perspective,
how
did skating?
to me it died. Small wheels. Small wheels killed me.
Okay. Small wheels.
I was one of those skaters that stopped skating
Yeah.
because of small wheels.
Small wheels, big pants.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Couldn't do it. I couldn't ollie. I wasn't a street skater. I never was, and everyone stopped for as far as a lot of people stopped going to the bowl, stopped skating. So I'm like going, yeah, cool. And
What did you do instead?
Oh, just I started going out with friends to nightclubs and all that, going to the city on Saturday nights, Wednesday nights to Fluid in South Yarra. So going out to nightclubs and that, doing school, but skating. And the crew started, this was only a core crew down Knox. And then it started, younger generation started coming through. But I still wasn't there. I wasn't skating much. My board, I'd never upgraded my board for about 3 years.
Yeah, okay.
Then one day I went to Frad's house. He looked and goes, "Have you got a skateboard?" I go, "No, not really." Handed me a Tom Knox skateboard, his old board.
Was it a slick?
Santa slick.
Right.
Yeah, white and red, with all white with red and black writing. And then I started falling in love with skating again. That was about 92, 93.
So he's been a really kind of key figure as far as trying to get you back in, like getting you into skating, getting you back into it when you went off the rails again, touching base with you again and getting back into it.
Yeah. So I got to set it up my skateboard, started skating heaps more. That 93.
Whereabouts?
Me and Frad were doing. Had a license, so we'd go everywhere. We'd hop in the car. We'd drive everywhere. Go to skate parks. We'd go just small little skate parks. We'd just go we'd skate all day.
Which places did you go to?
Huh?
Where
we went to Bulleen. We'd go over to Mill Park and small little street course skate park there. There's a lot of small little skate parks. We'd go to Fitzy a lot.
Were they all the metal ones?
No, there was a few concrete. But we'd go to Fitzy a lot.
Yeah.
We'd go to Lilydale. Places like that. We'd just be skating around.
Was it just you and him mainly, or?
Yeah, mainly just me and him driving around.
Yeah.
And then 94. There was 94 took up snowboarding. Found snowboarding.
Okay. Yeah.
And a lot of the crew was still skating, were snowboarding. And Andy goes, "Let's go." I think it was Nance. Goes, "Oh, let's go up to snow." Yeah, cool. Let's go snowboarding. I've never really heard of it, done it. Go up there and it's like start snowboarding, and then met like the BMX crew that I used to see down Knox.
Yeah.
And they were snowboarding. And then they started telling me about this crew called Team Wallride.
Team Wallride.
Team Wallride.
Yeah.
And that's where they used to camp at the bottom. They were doing it for a few years. They even had a house at one stage before I started meeting up with Gons and Marty Gordon and Lee and Cool Hand and Handbrake, Bucky. All the dudes I'm still hanging out with now are pretty much the dudes that are the guys that I used to met back up in '94 with the Team Wallrider crew and skating. Stevie G.
So you knew these guys before?
Oh, we all knew each other.
But everyone was going snowboarding.
Everyone was doing different things and that. But we used to camp down the bottom of the mountain in tents.
Fuck, that would have been cold.
No, you found the right equipment. It was all good. But I used to go with a guy named Carl Thomas. Carl Thomas and I used to drive up every Friday for the first year, every Friday night.
Yeah.
He'd sleep in the back of his panel van. I'd sleep in my tent. We'd go up snowboarding. On the Saturday night, we had a deal with the shop at the bottom that had a dry room.
Yeah.
If we bought a hamburger for dinner, we were allowed to put our stuff in the dry room to dry.
Overnight.
So we would always get up and we'd go hop in the car, go back up to the shop, put on all our dry clothes.
Oh, nice.
A lot of the other guys have got their wet clothes in the day before. Me and
I couldn't think of anything worse than putting wet clothes on.
Me and Tomo are putting on all our dry clothes, dry boots, go back up there, then drive home on the Sunday night. And that pretty much was the whole season.
For how long did you do that, Efi?
Oh, we did that 94, 95, 96. The whole Wallrider crew.
And were you skating at the same time?
Oh, skating heaps.
Okay, so skating a lot.
Yeah, skating a lot. That's when I met MC and all that crew, like MC and the younger skaters coming through from Knox. Skateboarding started really picking up and snowboarding. So Adam Thomas, a few other skaters were there, and Jason, and then they started coming up the snow as well. And people like Bucky, I knew Bucky. I still skate with Bucky now, but I'd seen Bucky and skated with him a few times, but didn't really know him back before we started going to the snow. And then we started going to the snow, so our crew and there was BMXs too going. Like there was Lindsay, Gons, Spalding, Smitty, and they used to come down Knox all the time, so we knew each other. But that's when we started really hanging out with BMXs and skaters, because there wasn't many. We were all hanging out together. We'd go road trips with BMXs and skaters on road trips to Canberra.
So you had this kind of mutual thing of snowboards.
Yeah. But we always got along with the BMXs.
Yeah.
The really funny thing about Knox is the BMXs and skateboarders never not got along.
Yeah, right.
We all got along, but you go to other places and you go, BMXs would be there and the locals would be going, piss off BMXs, or if there was BMX, piss off skaters, type of thing. But Knox was open. It was a real open family kind of feel.
Kind of cool.
It still is. It's a really funny crew. Like Knox crew's different. So
Knox special.
We are special. So yeah, we started snowboarding heaps and doing road trips, and then the X Games came. There was a thing called Planet X.
Yeah, I didn't ever hear of this. I thought that was a brothel.
No, Planet X was a...
That's a different one, is it?
Yeah, it was a rip-off, absolute rip-off of the X Games.
That Daily Planet, isn't it?
Yeah.
I was thinking today, I know I've taken this short, so do brothels have to close?
Don't know.
Asking for a mate, that's all. I'm just asking social distancing. Or do they have to screen clients?
I never walked into one.
I'm just asking for a friend.
Okay, cool. Close friend?
Just a friend.
Just a friend.
So you guys, sorry, where we're at?
Road trips.
Road trips.
Yeah.
So Knox crew got along. Everyone got a cake. Planet X. That's how we got it. Yeah.
Yeah. So that was a comp up. It was like the X Games.
Yeah.
But it was an Australian version.
Budget version.
Yeah. Yeah. We had pros come over from America. Like we had Ryan Nyquist. We had Bob Burnquist. Came over for the first
Only people with Quests in their name?
Yeah, Taj Mahalik.
Yeah.
BMXer. T1, Joe Rich. I can't remember.
Are these all BMX people?
No, Bob Burnquist. Yeah, I can't remember the skaters that much, only because I got there and I'm...
Well, it's probably it's early 90s, isn't it? So skating's kind of died off.
No, 98.
Oh, 98, okay,
98.
right.
Then Flaz was there.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Flaz was there, and I knew Flaz from skating Ring of Fire.
Yeah.
And saw what he built with Ring of Fire with those guys, and knew from the Fitzroy days and all that. Some of the a lot of the guys. There's like Jason. I think Ridgway was there. I can't remember. Like they had a street comp. They had vert. They had.
Was this in Queensland?
Yeah, the Gold Coast. They had rock climbing. They had those people that jump out of planes with boards on their feet, skydiving. There was so many different events.
Yeah.
Like
so it's an extreme sports.
Extreme
kind
sports,
of
yeah.
Mecca thing, yeah.
Yeah. But when I went up there, I saw dirt jumping.
Dirt jumping?
BMX dirt jumping. I'm like going, wow, look at... I couldn't never do an air on a skateboard. I'm like, look at the air time. That looks amazing.
A lot of hang time, yeah.
Yeah. And remember Al Biotti was there. Rest in peace, Al. Al Biotti, Jamie Pape, young BMXers were there that I'd seen at Knox. And they were doing these big jumps. And I'm like, I ended up like I go to the guy running it, Mark Ehrlich, who's ran Strictly BMX.
So did you blag your way into it?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah. So I went and ended up talking to Mark, going, who's commentating this? He goes, oh, I am. I'll do it. He goes, do you know this tricks? I go, yeah, kind of. I watch these BMXs every day. I skate with them.
Yeah.
I reckon I can do it. I did it. No one understood a word I said.
Why?
I was so hyped, I was screaming in the microphone. Did you see that? Look at him go. How big is that? Got home. I wanted a BMX.
So it sounds like you were like your Darryl Eastake on a speed bench or
definitely.
something, like,
I was definitely
screaming down there. And so did you actually know what you were talking about?
Some of it. I know what a tail whip is. Know what a
tail
fast
whip.
spin. Yep.
Fast spin.
Fast spin.
Tell me some other BMX
360, truck driver.
What's a truck driver?
Truck driver's a 360 bar spin. So you do a 360 and you spin the bars and catch it.
Yeah, keep going more. Tell me some other ones.
A bus driver.
A bus driver.
Yeah, is where you put your hand on the wheel and roll it around.
Right, keep going.
So that's a bus driver. You got backflips.
Yep.
ETs.
Are there any tricks that are named the same tricks as in skateboarding?
Smith grind. Smith.
How the
Feeble.
fuck can you do a Smith? Sorry.
On a ramp.
With a BMX?
The BMX, you have the front back wheel on the top and you peg on the coping, like a Smith grind.
Okay.
Yeah.
I get it.
Backside air, front side air, 360s. A lot of skate tricks and BMX tricks. Megangle, cabs. Even though Cab, don't talk to Cab. He doesn't. He says it's not an ollie. But
Do you have to go backwards then?
Yeah.
Right.
No. Yeah. You go backwards.
Right.
Yeah, you can do cabs.
Okay.
They call them cabs as well.
Did you ever get shit for being a BMXer?
Yeah.
Who from?
Other skaters from
Your
other
mates?
areas. No, not other areas like selling out. Yeah, but friends as well. What are you doing riding a BMX? Come skate with us. No, I fell in love with BMX again.
From the dirt jumping?
Yeah.
Right.
Started doing started riding the dirt jumps with the BMXs.
You were telling me a story about a dirt jump you did at the X Games.
It was a Planet X in Melbourne.
Oh, are we getting to that?
Oh, we can get to it.
Go on, do that. That's a good one.
So we had.
So you had a big hard on for dirt jumping.
Oh yeah. So
right.
So
and did you have anywhere you could practice dirt jumping?
Yeah, we had. There was places.
Where?
That Al and a few of the crew were building jumps, and Ryan.
Because that come across to me like a small thing.
It is, but they were building dirt jumps in the middle of parks and that. Then the council would come and bulldoze them.
Right.
There's a place called H.E. Parker Park that was over in Heathmont. There was Diamond Creek, which Diamond Creek's still going.
Oh wow.
Near the train lines. There was Montrose dirt jumps. The shell jumps down in Geelong. That was scary. Reynolds McQueen made them. They were big, steep. There's one run that only Reynolds would do. They were just big. So one day they had this qualifying series. So
at these
at all different skate parks.
Yep. Planet Games.
Pardon?
What are they? Planet.
Yeah, Planet X. But they had these qualifying games. Like you qualified to go to the Melbourne. Like they had them all around Australia.
Yeah.
So they had 5 events in Melbourne, in Victoria. So you had places like really stupid, because the skate parks you had to qualify at were going to be nothing like what the course was, or anything that was going to be at the Planet X Games, because they were going to be bigger.
Right.
And the street courses we were doing were just skate parks like Hillsville Skate Park. There was a qualifying series there. I tried to qualify a fair few times. There was also one at Camberwell for both skateboarding and BMX.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah, I didn't qualify.
For either?
For either.
Oh, bugger.
They had a dirt jump. They had a dirt jumping qualifier at Croydon Hills. There's no chance I was going to qualify for dirt jumping. Not with the skill and everyone else. I could do a straight jump. Couldn't do a trick to save myself except for a
no bus drivers, no truck drivers, no Smith grinds.
I'd do an
no
X up.
pogos.
I'd do an X up, but I'd be the most bow-legged. I'd go up and go.
That's because you've got Ethiopian elbows.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I try to qualify, and we get to the event day. The event day was pretty...
So you didn't qualify.
Didn't qualify.
You got to the event day.
I got the event. And the event happened.
I'm picking up on this kind of blagging theme. Like you seem to be able to talk yourself into things.
Yeah. I did read this one. So I was at the dirt jumps, and these dirt jumps were big, and the dirt was horrible dirt. It's when the docklands getting built, so all the junk that they pulled out of the docklands, all this dirt with rocks and glass, was all made to the dirt jumps. They were big dirt jumps and that, and all the guys that qualified for the dirt had never jumped anything that big. It was really weird.
So they qualified on dirt?
They qualified on dirt.
Yep.
But the dirt jumps were totally different to the ones they'd seen before. There's a Diamond Creek, and these were like big, huge 24-foot gaps.
Yeah, right.
And I'd done a few 24-foot gaps with Stevie and that at the other previous games by sneaking in my bike and doing them.
Blagging your way in again, yeah?
Yeah, I'm very good at that. So I would do. So I got there and saying to all these kids, like there was Luke Weatherall and Benny Baxter and a few other crew there, kids that were there. I call them kids. They're 16, 17, 18. They're not really kids. And they're like standing up there and like, I'm not going to jump them. They're too big. They're too big. I'm like, come on, guys. Let's do it. I looked at Mark and go, Mark, these guys aren't going to jump. I'll bloody jump them.
I love that confidence.
So it gets me in trouble all the time.
I'm imagining it might.
Yeah. So I walk. Mark goes, yeah, okay, go on. Not thinking I'd do it.
So you had your own bike there?
No.
No, okay.
No, not thinking it. Mark just like, yeah, whatever, Efi. whatever.
So they fucking called you on it.
No, so I'll go up the top and I go, the guys go, you guys going to jump it? Oh, they're pretty big. Go, mate, just 2 cranks. Look, 2 cranks. You see Colin McKay, you're seeing Stevie McCann, you're seeing these dudes do it. They're doing 2 cranks. And then they jump in it. It's just a bit more airtime than you do. Oh, then you do it. Oh, I don't have a bike. Benny, put the bike underneath me. I'm thinking to myself, I've just called myself out here. I'm in deep shit. Really starting to worry. I go, oh, I'll get out. I'll get out.
Sweat.
Yep.
The sweat coming off your head.
I'll get out of this. I don't have a helmet. Somebody puts a helmet on my head. I'm like, oh, jeez.
Do you have pads and stuff on?
No. No, I'm not the kind of person that kind of backs down.
I thought you were going to say thinks things through.
I didn't think things through either. Wasn't thinking. Typical me. So I looked and said to Stevie, I go, how many cranks? He goes, 2. Stevie cranks harder than I do. I've worked that out now. I rolled in, did a jump. It was windy. I like to go push my bike and go like that way when I go do a jump. The wind was going that way and pushed my bike the wrong way. I was in midair, floating sideways. Couldn't get the bike
time
back.
kind of just go.
Yeah, bike couldn't get straight. I'm like, oh no. I landed on top of the jump with my leg down, my knee buckled. Ooh. I slid all the way down onto the ground, crawled off. The guy that grabbed the bike and helmet runs down, gets the bike and helmet off me, doesn't even go, hey, you okay? I'm just lying in this other piece of dirt over there. Then I look up and I'm like, fuck me. Every kid's jumping them and making it.
So you were the guinea pig.
I was the guinea pig.
Right.
I was the guinea pig. Fucking hell. Still got the scar from it.
Oh, is that like a big cut?
It was a piece of glass that was in there from that day, and it was in there for about 4 years.
Sounds like a great big like cheese shredder.
It was.
Oh my God.
That's my claim to fame for my BMX.
I wish someone had that. Do you have that on video? Does anyone have that on video?
No.
That sounds fucking awesome.
No.
So, this is the dirt jumping. Okay,
Yep.
You got shit from people for that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
When did you get back into skateboarding again?
Oh, well, I got back in around about. I was still skating.
Yeah.
But pretty much, dirt started. The dirt jumping. All the dirt jumps started getting ploughed and that. So So there's nowhere really to do dirt jumps and BMX. So I started skateboarding a lot more. Because I was always skating. But it just, on weekends would go drive and go dirt jumps. But on the weekdays I'd be skating, and on weekends I'd be dirt jumping.
Yeah.
And then I started getting into, then the dirt jumps started going, so I started skating a lot more.
Yeah.
Moss had their first comp, I think.
Oh yeah.
So I met up. I'd already and snowboarding died off, and so I started meeting up with all the old like Luke Foster and Cool Hand and some of the other guys like Flaz and Dorfus was there because he built the skate park, and I'd known of, and Wedge was there, and a lot of other Reese and all that starts, and we was then.
So this is like the first. Was this like the first Moss Jam? When was that? Like 2002,
2, I think it was.
Yeah,
But there was at that point Cook, and they had the age groups were totally different. Like
everyone was in their 20s then.
No, like 30s.
No,
so there's over 30s, over 35s, and over 40s was like old.
Old, yeah.
Old.
Yeah.
Now I look at 40, and now it's gone to it's up to 40.
There's
I think it is.
centenarian, like kind of 100 plus class now.
Ring of Fire.
Yeah.
Ring of Fire was skating that tons, like going to and then skating Knox, skating everywhere. Then I skated really kind of. Then skating hit road trips.
Is this when you started to go to all the skate parks?
Yeah, me and Frad were doing a lot of trips, and I was doing. We go, again, going to all the new skate parks and that. Around about 2006. 2006, I was skating heaps. My grandmother passed away.
Is this your mum's mum?
My mum's mum.
Yeah.
The one that really looked after me.
Yeah.
Passed away. I broke up with my partner at the time that I'd been with a few years and had a house with. And ended up moving in with some friends. So moved in with some friends. There were BMXers, and they were the younger crew. I got there and I was drinking lots, drinking real lots,
So
every night.
What did your substance use and sort of drinking been like up until that
Not
point?
much.
Not much. Just
No,
like kind
social.
of regular social
Yeah.
binge drinking.
Yeah,
and stuff like that.
yeah.
And then
I started drinking lots when I moved into that house, and I was kind of skateboarding. I stopped skateboarding as much, stopped riding as much, and started spiraling, falling down a little bit.
what did that look like?
It looked like me drinking on a weeknight and falling asleep on the ground under the pool table or in my bedroom, just drinking alone.
So drinking to passing out.
Passing out.
Like obliterating yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. A friend.
And how long did that go on for?
Went on for about 6 months.
Yeah. And did that kind of affect any other parts of your kind of life?
I started to really piss people off.
Right. More than usual.
More than usual.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. I started alienating people and like they didn't want to have I could feel. I look back now and they're like going, oh, just can't handle him.
So was that like, what sort of drunk were you?
I'm a happy drunk.
Yeah.
I am a happy drunk, but I'm not that. I'm a happy drunk, but I get like slurry and things like that.
What was going on back then when you were drinking that made people want to distance themselves from you?
Just the amount I was drinking and
Wow,
just not doing what shit that I should be doing around the house and
So not being responsible.
not being responsible.
Yeah.
Going to work, still going to work,
Yeah.
and that.
What, drinking at work or?
No.
Just you'd get fucking hammered the
I
night before.
get hammered, pass out at 8 o'clock,
Yeah. Okay.
and wake up sober.
Yeah.
but-
Did it affect your physical health at all?
Yeah, it did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which ways? Kind of.
Just I wasn't doing any exercise and
Yeah,
just
Put weight
wasn't
on or-
eating.
Yeah.
Wasn't eating at all
About
properly.
your motivation and stuff.
Yeah. So a friend, she turned around and said, I think you need to see somebody about it.
Yeah. Right.
And I looked and gone, I think you're right.
Yeah.
So I went and she gave me a card
Yeah.
a card for a person.
Yeah.
And I'm like, going, it's a bloody church.
Yeah. Right.
I looked at it. I'm not a church person.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm not religious at all.
Yeah.
I looked at this card and I put it down. Just put it down and said, it was sitting next to my bed. My bed was on the floor. I had no bed. I was living on a mattress on the floor as well. So I looked at it and gone, whatever. A few weeks later, she comes in. She comes into the house and goes, "Have you gone and seen that person yet? It's really helped my other friend." I'm like, oh. I looked at her. I go, okay, I'll just go there once. So I said I've been there because she's asked me to go and she thinks I need it. I go, I don't need to see somebody. I'm quite happy living this.
Were you?
I thought I didn't really care.
Yeah. Right. It's a
Didn't
bit of
care.
it. It was kind of, fuck it.
Fuck the world.
Yeah.
Fuck them all.
Yeah.
I'm living my life and going to do what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
I went and saw this person.
Yeah.
And she goes to me, I think you might have depression. I'm like, what is that?
Yeah.
No one ever spoke about it. No one talked about it. Never heard the real kind of the words before. This is 2006. It's not 2017, 18, 19, 20, where you have Beyond Blue, you have all these ads and all that. Back then it was not spoken about. So
What did she say to you that made you, what did she identify
just my,
to think that you were depressed? What?
just the way, just how I was living my life, what had happened in the last 6 months.
Yeah.
And all.
So sort of the stresses that had led up to it, she talked about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I've gone, oh, yeah. And we started discussing things. And I started feeling better about it.
So talking to someone
Talking to
helped,
somebody that was, and going, geez, I am really putting myself down into the shit now.
Yeah.
I'm really, if I don't fix this, I'm going to end up somewhere, I'm going to end up badly.
Yeah, like, I mean, it's self-harm,
Yeah,
whether you
I was-
like it or
yeah.
not, the drinking, I think,
Yeah.
isn't it?
Yeah. But then at the same time, this happened. I also got the sack from my work. Where
Was drinking related? Or?
I didn't. I had enough. I just didn't want to. I worked there 9.5 years and said, I just had enough of working there. And they asked me what I'm doing there, and I said, I'm only here because I want to get to 10 years and get my long service before I quit.
Right.
They said, okay, you can leave now.
Oh, okay.
If you don't want to be here, we don't want you here. Okay. And I'm like, oh, whatever. And but the thing about it is, my boss, before I even got home, I had a phone call from another staircase company offering me a job.
Yeah.
My boss had rang up another staircase company to get me a job.
Yeah, right. So he was looking out for you.
He was looking out for me. So I also lost the job and all that, and I was working for a job at a company I really did not want to work for.
Yeah.
I just did. No, it was nothing like the job. Like, you know, when people say the grass is not green on the other side.
Yeah.
Working for this other working for the company I worked for 9.5 years, then going to this other company and was like, whoa, this is nothing like what I used to work for.
Yeah. In a bad way, or?
I've made a mistake.
Yeah. Okay. Right.
I've made a mistake, and that was one of the other things.
You didn't know how good you had it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That was so I made a mistake by quitting the job, and then I was doing this other job and stuff like that, and I got back my job. I got back the job back where I was working.
Were you drinking still?
Not as much.
No. Okay. So what stopped you drinking? What?
Talking and
to the lady that you were seeing.
And she put me on to a doctor.
A GP.
A GP that specialises in was specialised in depression.
Yeah. So if we can just go back, and I know this, I don't want it to be upsetting for you, but just to kind of make people aware of the kind of things that depression can be. You know, a lot of the time it's sort of having a persistently low mood or feeling really sad. Sometimes it's the lack of enjoyment around things you're normally used to do. So you just stop enjoying things, even though you're doing them. There's things that we call biological symptoms. So things like energy. If it affects your energy levels, your motivation, your sleeping, your appetite, these kind of things, like, you know, can affect your concentration. You can be markedly kind of more irritable with people, have a shorter fuse, you know. You might isolate yourself, you feel withdrawn. The other thing is that the other thing that happens at the same time with depression, it's like a double-sided coin. Depression and anxiety very much go together. Yeah. So people feel overwhelmingly kind of anxious. They, you know, get the shakes, they get short of breath, you know, they have this sense of dread or fear or want to avoid things, you know. So was that stuff going on for you?
Oh man, I did the biggest avoidance.
Yeah.
I did the biggest avoidance. So the company I went back and worked for, an opportunity came up in the branch in Queensland.
Yeah.
It's a small branch.
Yeah.
12 people.
Yeah.
So the opportunity to go and do something, get away from it.
Right.
Get away from Melbourne. Get away from all the stuff that was dragging me down.
Yeah, okay.
So I moved up to Queensland.
That's interesting. So it's like
Gold Coast branch.
what we call a positive stressor. It's good because it's a positive thing, but it's also stressful because it's a new thing as well. You know?
Yeah. But I was living on the Gold Coast. I was going out on Saturday nights.
So you'd seen this lady. You'd kind of talked to her a bit.
And kind of
started some medication with the GP? Or
Yep.
What were you taking, like an antidepressant?
An antidepressant.
Yeah. And how long were you taking that for?
Not very long. I just thought I didn't need it.
Yeah, of course. I don't need it.
I thought I'd just get over it.
How long did you take it for?
Oh, probably about a month or two.
Right. Did it make any difference?
Not 100% sure.
Yeah?
Yeah, back then I'm not sure what it did. Things started changing, and I started manipulating my lifestyle and changing.
Changed some things for the best.
Changed a lot of things. I think I even started getting a bedroom. Like
what?
I used to live on a mattress on the floor.
Right.
I had nothing in my room.
Okay.
So I think I got a bed.
And we're not talking minimal German interior design here. We're talking dysfunction.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
So I then went to the Gold Coast branch. Every weekend I'd drive around and go to every skate park I could. Frad moved up with me for the first month.
Okay, cool.
So we drove up, and he stayed for a month.
Yeah.
And I was living on a air mattress because I had my stuff.
You'd moved down, and you'd gone from a mattress to an air mattress
because all my stuff was going to be moved up from Melbourne.
Yeah.
Which was all my grandmother's stuff that was in storage and stuff like that. So I moved it all up into up there. And then every second weekend, we had jobs up on the sunny coast. So I'd drive up there on the sunny coast and do all the skate parks on the sunny coast.
Yeah, right.
And so every weekend I was driving to and the way I found skate parks is either skateboard.com and they had the whole list of skate parks.
Yeah.
And I was ticking them off my list. Had this sheet. Had this sheet. And then if I didn't know if there was a skate park Queensland's really cool. Anyone wants to know where a skate park is in Queensland, go to the swimming pool. The skate park's next door.
Yeah, right.
The skate park's right next door. Caloundra, right next to the swimming pool.
Yeah, okay.
Beera, right next to the swimming pool. Pizzy, right next to the swimming pool.
Yeah, right.
The newer ones aren't anymore, but yeah, a lot of the older ones are right next to the swimming pool.
How many do you reckon you went to?
I think at the stage back in 2007, I think I clicked over 450.
Fuck. Wow.
350 to 450.
That's pretty impressive.
Through the whole of, because I did the whole coast.
To me, that sounds a little bit like it's opportunistic in the fact that you're there, but it's also like, I think sometimes when you get depressed and you can sort of, it's good to have a distraction.
I was escaping.
It's a distraction.
Oh, yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, it fills your time in. It's something to do.
Yep.
Yeah?
Yeah.
And it's scheduled. It's like, so you've got this schedule to do something. So that you're not sitting at home, kind of doing your head in or thinking too much.
I'd drive down to Ballina.
Yeah.
And skate Ballina. And I met some cool crew through that times.
You would have met a lot of people.
I met a lot of people. Don Tarr, he was a Melbourne skater down in Melbourne. Didn't really know him. Met him up there a few times. Skate with him on the sunny coast. A kid named Shy or something like that. And his dad, they used to drive a combi, and I used to see, or a van. You used to see them at nearly all the time.
So they were doing what you were doing. They
lived on the sunny coast.
Yeah,
so,
okay.
And so then Jake Duncombe I met.
Yep.
Through Ring of Fire. Then met him back up again up in the Gold Coast where he lived. He moved back up there.
You're a kind of friendly guy too. Like you'll go and talk to anyone pretty much.
Yeah,
which is,
I would go.
Imagine why you make lots of friends.
Yeah, I'd go to Beenleigh skate park, which isn't a skate park, was BMXs.
Yeah.
And they didn't really like skaters.
Was it indoor or something?
No, it was outdoor.
Okay.
It's outdoor, but it had a mini ramp with a spine. I got there one day and there was all these BMXs there and all that, and I'd been BMXing before and all that, and these guys, I'm skating, and they're kind of like going, like looking at me like, who the hell are you, fucking skater? And then all of a sudden, Corey Bowen turned up, a guy I met through BMXing and dirt, and goes, oh, how are you, mate? I go, yeah, good. Oh, how's Lindsay? How's Trevor? How's Dave? I go, yeah, really good. All the other BMXers looked at me and go, how the hell do you know those guys?
Yeah, right.
And I'm like, oh. So, and that's how I got to the BMX. I was skating Beenleigh, and I was like, I'd go to Beenleigh and skate there, and it was all good with the BMXs too. I'd be and then I'd see them, and I was kind of hanging out with. Like,
Did you ever jump on the bike again and kind of have much of a go?
Not when I lived in the Gold Coast.
No.
No, not when I lived on the Gold Coast.
You're still trying to get over that last dirt jump. All your broken bits.
Yeah. So then I lived up there for 18 months.
Yeah.
But I was struggling too with everything.
With work or with?
No, work was fantastic.
Still the sort of mental health stuff.
Yeah, I was struggling with my not having family or friends around me, like all my close family and friends that I'd made over the times, and wasn't really talking to my family and friends that much, and a few people came up, but
felt a bit disconnected.
I felt really disconnected.
Far away.
Yeah. So I lasted 18 months.
Yeah.
And I decided that I'd go home Christmas Eve.
Yeah.
I wasn't going to tell my family.
Yeah.
I was turning up Christmas Eve.
Yeah.
But the problem was I had nowhere to live.
Right. Okay.
And I was just packing up and going, where the hell am I going to live? Can't afford to live by myself. My friends had all the people I lived with, I'd either burnt or they wouldn't want to live with me because of that.
You said that to me. You said that you'd tried to sort of reconnect with some people back home, but they were kind of a little bit...
They were standoffish.
Yeah, they were a bit of... They weren't sort of that welcoming.
No, and they wouldn't want to live with me because after I lived with them a few times for a while.
And do you think this was kind of because of the previous stuff you'd done when you were flat out on the terps?
Yeah. So I didn't tell my family, except for my brothers and sisters.
That you were coming back?
Coming back. Ended up, my brother and sister and two sisters, they were sharing a house. They had a spare room.
Yep.
They go, come live with us for as long as you want. I'm like, yeah, cool, no worries. So I packed up all my stuff, drove back home, left work a few days earlier than Christmas.
Did you come back to a job back here?
Yeah, I came back to the same job.
Yeah. Oh,
so came back to work back in the factory. So up in the Gold Coast, I was working in the office, measuring staircases, working in the factory. Small branch, you had to do everything.
Yeah.
So I got to do every part of the business. I didn't really do sales.
Yeah.
But I did every other part of it, like drawing up staircases, detailing them, putting through the factory, running the CNC machines, working on the machine shop. I even installed staircases.
Yeah, right.
So I got to do every part of it because it was such a small branch. You had to be versatile.
Jack of all trades.
Yeah. So I learned a lot being up there and it was one of the best things I've ever done for my career, I think, was working up on the Gold Coast. And I'm thankful for having the opportunity to do it. But I came home, and when I came home, I moved in with my brother and sister, and I'm like, Christmas Eve was like, wow, I'm home. I kind of felt like I'd failed a little bit too, that I never succeeded in at the branch at the Gold Coast.
Come back with your tail between your legs.
Like, I'd never accomplished what I wanted. I felt there was something still I hadn't accomplished or finished.
Yeah.
Christmas Day, I started feeling really shitty. What the hell have I done? What am I doing here? I'm living with my brother and sisters, and I had nothing really to do with my brother and sisters for a very long time because I lived with my grandmother. I lived out of home. I lived in my grandmother's units. I lived in, shared a house and with a partner. So I never really had much to do with them.
Yeah.
They were a lot younger than I were.
Yeah.
And we had totally different lifestyles. Mine was BMX and skateboarding, snowboarding, and they were netball and
traditional sports.
Yeah, and that type of thing. And so I never really had much to do with them until I moved in.
Yeah.
With them. So Boxing Day, I really started to fall. And I go, what am I doing? And I didn't want to leave my room. I didn't leave my room.
So it's pretty rapid onset.
Really rapid.
Deterioration, how you're feeling.
Yeah, I really started to fall in a heap.
Like your mood?
With my mood.
Or, yeah.
With my mood. And then I'm telling my story, and I'm telling this story, and I'm trying to be as open as I can be.
And this is the reason why you called me up.
This is the reason I wanted to be here and called you for this. I have a story, and this story, I've lost friends due to depression and that. I suffered and have suffered and still get it. And it's only in the last year, I had this since 2006, and it's only in the last year I've been able to admit to people that I've suffered it. I was ashamed. I'll tell my story and how I dealt with it and what had happened to me, and hopefully me sharing this story will help other people, and not be ashamed if you are or are now, have, or are going to fall down, especially with this climate we are at the moment. There will be people with life stresses.
Oh yeah, big one.
And I want my story to be told where there is help, and you can do it. I've done it. I'm doing it. I've had great help, and we'll discuss that. So
So I think what you're saying, one of the things that you're talking about is the kind of stigma.
Yes.
The stigma for, I think, a lot of men to sort of look macho, look tough. They don't want to seek help, you know.
I did that for years.
Yeah, and depression's like what we call a high prevalence disorder. So it's very common. Yeah, it's like 1 in 4 people get depressed. Yeah. Yeah. Throughout their lifetime. Yeah. Yeah. The other thing is, I think that which is incredibly brave, what you're doing and kind of coming out and telling your story, you know, and what you're trying to do is just normalize it.
Yeah.
You know, and say, this happens, and you know, if you don't do stuff about it, you'll probably suffer, and you know, kind of you'll be unhappy. You don't just feel sad in yourself. Your functioning suffers. Your relationships suffer, and all of that stuff, when it folds in as a result of depression or not getting help, actually makes you more depressed. So they're kind of maintaining factors.
Yeah.
They're things that continue to keep you where you're at.
Yep.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yeah?
Yeah.
So you've gotten depressed the first time and you were drinking,
Yep.
you know, and like it's not,
I never
you don't
really-
have to be a rocket scientist to figure out that stuff that happened to you when you were younger probably had an impact on you later.
Maybe, yes. Yes.
Yeah, I think it does for everyone.
Does, yeah.
You know?
Yeah, and I've spoken to a lot of, so we'll go back to, the Christmas area.
Yeah.
So I literally did not get out of my bedroom
For how long?
for about 2 weeks.
Right, so you're just in your bed, not...
I got out, I would go out for a little bit, wouldn't leave the house.
Yeah.
My brother and sister, would like go, oh, you need to eat. You need to eat. I wouldn't eat for 2 days.
So your appetite, you weren't eating, you
I wasn't
didn't have
eating.
any appetite, nothing.
Yeah, I
you know?
wasn't doing anything. I started losing a lot of weight. And
Yeah.
my brother and sisters looking at me going, what's going on?
Mm.
And they just thought, oh, just because he's come back and things, I don't know.
Were they thinking like you're on drugs or something? Were they thinking anything like that?
No. They were just, they
They were worried.
Yeah, worried. And so they go, I'm cooking dinner tonight. Do you want any?
Mm.
No, I'm not. And then I'm cooking dinner tonight. You're having dinner.
Mm.
Okay, I will. And then I really knew.
So they started to look after you. They
Yeah.
had to take an active role in looking after you.
Yeah. Then I knew something was really I knew what I had suffered, going to a psychologist before and psychiatrists and that. I knew that I was depressed.
You had a predisposition
I already had
to it.
I already knew that I'd already been and seen doctors about it and that.
Did it feel like the same thing? Interesting. Did it feel like the same thing again, or did it feel different?
Felt way worse.
Okay, so it was different than the first one.
Very much.
Yeah.
The first one, this time was just, it was like just nothing. And then I ended up reaching out to my dad and said, I got to do something.
Mm.
So I ended up moving in there for 2 days, and they got me to go back to a doctor.
So you went to. So did you see the same doctor or a different?
No,
one?
a different doctor.
Yeah.
And this is where the stories go. So I went and saw this doctor, told him what was happening,
Yeah.
and he goes, "Oh, I'll give you these tablets.
Mm.
These will help you." I'm like, "Okay, no worries."
Were you like sure, or were you like?
Yeah, I was a bit
no,
kind of,
or-
I'll do anything.
Yep. That's
Yeah.
a good indicator.
But this is what I want to get to people is, the doctor prescribed something to me, but as I'm leaving,
Yeah.
he goes, "Oh, by the way, I see you going bald. Have you thought about this treatment?" I looked at him and go, like, I've come in here with depression, and this doctor tried to push this other treatment.
Yeah.
I literally just walked out of there and go, I'm never going to see that guy again.
Yeah.
And this is where I learnt my lesson, over the
yeah.
years. I went back to see the first doctor I went and saw.
Who you had a good
Who
experience.
I had a great thing with. So I've had the rapport with that doctor, and then they put me on. You're allowed the government subsidises treatment plans,
Mental health care.
mental
plan.
health
Yeah.
care plans. So I started doing a mental health care plan.
Yeah. Which is like 10 sessions.
8, I think it is.
8 sessions.
10.
8 sessions.
Yeah.
I think it used to be 8. Now it might be 10.
Might
now,
be 10
I think.
now,
Yep.
but it was 8 back then, and you can have more if you need, if they requested
So
it.
that allows you to go and have therapy with
Yes,
someone on
yeah,
Medicare.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I saw the first person I saw. I walked into this room, and it was in a house, and talking to this lady, and I just didn't get along with her.
So she's a private therapist.
Yeah.
You went to her house.
Yeah.
Why didn't you get along with her? Like,
the questions she was asking me, and the questions she was asking me didn't feel relevant to what was happening in my life at the time.
did she listen?
She was listening, but she just kept on asking me these questions about what happened like years ago and all that. And I wanted to talk about what's happening now.
Yeah. Okay.
And I decided, and I felt really uncomfortable in the room. So I didn't go back. I went and saw another one. And you can do, this is what one of the parts is, if anyone is suffering and you have these treatment plans, you don't have to go see the first person.
I think that's.
You can go, this is where people, they go see, some people might be out there and they'll go and see one person and go, this isn't working for me.
Yeah.
But there is other ways. You can get more.
I think my experience, and like, I'm not sure if everyone knows, I am a mental health professional. That's what I do as a job. But I think, and have had my own experiences as well. The thing is that I think help seeking and the timing of help seeking, and when you go and see someone, it's crucial, because at the time when you're really not okay is when you want to when you're most receptive of help. So when you put your kind of hand out there and you try and get some help, but you have a bad experience, it kind of can sometimes put you off seeking help in the future. And I think what you're kind of saying to me is, if you have a bad experience that first time, don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. Try again. Because I think it's really important, And I think, look, research kind of suggests that before people get to kind of the appropriate service or person, they might have anywhere between like 5 to 7 different attempts to try and get. So it might be a GP, you might see a psychologist, you don't like that person, you might start taking some medication, you might stop taking it, you might. So people kind of prolong their period of being depressed, if you like, because of unhelpful experiences they have sometimes.
Yeah.
So don't give up, and try and see someone. You might take 2 or 3 people before you see the right person, or it might be that you click with someone, or you kind of eventually establish some sort of rapport with them where you feel comfortable enough to talk. And I think when you meet someone in a sort of therapeutic way, it's a bit of a dance. You kind of got to figure out if you like that person, or
yes,
so it's not.
That's 100% what it was.
Exactly. And some people aren't the right sort of click.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes, it'll be the therapist, how they go about themselves, their style you might not like,
I found that.
Or it may be that person that you're seeing may not have life experience around the stuff that you need input on.
Yep.
Like someone who has never used substances before getting advice from someone who's never drank or used drugs or anything like that. It's kind of pointless, I think, if you haven't been there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I got help. And I started pulling. So I got help, and it took a fair while for me to start to come good. Started coming good. Started skating again heaps.
Yeah.
Started skating again heaps.
So you weren't skating at all when you're feeling flat?
No, I came back from Melbourne. I stopped skating for a while. Then started skating, catching up with old people, crew again, and started going through there, and then started skating a lot more. And I found that skateboarding was at skateboarding, and if I kept my skateboarding and work, they were just too grounding. They grounded me.
Got it.
They grounded me. So if I'm not
stable,
kept me stable. Skateboarding and having and working.
And interesting, a bit like a litmus test too. Like if you're not skating or you don't have the energy to skate, then it's probably a sign that you're not quite right.
Yeah.
Something's not quite right. There's too much stress or so much going on in your life, or you're feeling a bit flat or something.
Yeah.
Whereas if you're wanting to and the other thing is that skating is the more you skate, the more kind of endorphins, the more kind of physically active you are, the better you'll feel. Do you know what I mean? So kind of, the problem is when you're depressed, you don't want to do it. But in actual fact, it's the fucking one thing you need. It keeps you kind of social, it keeps you moving, it keeps you motivated, helps you sleep at night, gives you adrenaline, and it's also taps into that thing that you have always done that is good for you.
Yeah, it's like some people have it for will go riding their bike.
Yeah,
push bike.
and
other guys motorbike rides. Yeah, everyone's got their own thing, and but so started skating again. So we get back. So mentally I started feeling really good. But I was taking a tablet every day.
Yep.
Taking a tablet every day, and I still take that tablet every day.
Yeah. I'm sure there's days you miss it, but that's okay.
Oh yeah, if I miss it a few days, we know about it.
Yeah.
So hooked up with some old crew from, and we'll get back into the skating again. You don't mind?
No,
cool.
Sure.
Yeah. So I hooked up with Shawnee Eaton. Shawnee Eaton, Faster Sean, and I heard about this mega ramp.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, heard about this mega ramp they were building, and I thought it was, and I'm like, want to skate this thing. I want to skate this thing. Another thing stupid enough for me to do, because number one, no fucking vert skater. I can't skate anything over 8 foot.
Yeah.
But I wanted to go and see this thing, so Shawnee let me go down there. And I went down there and looked at it and go, wow.
Is this the first one?
The first one.
The first one, yeah.
So got down there and Flaz and Jimmy were building the vert ramp. We're building the park. We're building the park at the same time, and I'm like, yeah. And Flaz asked me. This is where my other skateboard design came from. Flaz did these perfect hand drawings, but needed to be put onto a CAD file and then sent onto a machine so they could be run instead of hand cutting them all for the vert ramp. Yeah. So he gave me these plans, so I went and did them into a CAD file and did it and got it and
this is your work technical talk.
Yeah.
Is it right? Okay.
Yeah. And went and so I knew another guy that had a CNC machine. Yeah. So I go, Flaz, this guy can cut it out all for you and all that. Yeah, no worries. Then at the same time I was going down the mega ramp and I looked at it and they had no quarter pipe.
Yeah.
And I go to myself, I reckon I could build that quarter pipe.
Yeah.
I go, I'll just get Flaz's idea and extend it.
Yeah. Okay.
Double the size.
Right.
So
just change the dimensions.
Just double it. So and make 5 parts instead of 2 parts and all this other stuff. And I asked, and I really wanted to skate this thing. I only skated it once and I knocked myself unconscious. Not unconscious, knocked myself the first time.
Mega ramp the first time.
I concussed myself pretty bad.
Oh, yeah.
Landed on my head.
So was that dropping in or you just went like...
I decided to do the jump.
Oh.
I didn't quite make the jump.
No, right,
no,
okay.
No.
So it's a bit of air time. The same sort of air time over the dirt jump where everything slows.
Yeah, but I was upside down.
Slap it. Ooh.
I was completely upside down and
fuck.
Going like this.
Another thing I wish you had on video.
No, I've got one picture of it.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah, I'll show you after we finish. But so started that project, and I spoke to Pete and Ruth, and they were living in a shed. I said, if you want to, I can help you build this, but it's pretty much 6 months, and you're going to be the house you're building over there is going to be put on hold while we build this. So they got, yep, we're sick and tired of people saying it can't be done. I go, we can do it. So we had heaps of crew come down. There was heaps of us. That came down and helped with the whole project. Got it done. One of the proudest things I've done in...
So when did that start being built and when did it finish?
I think 7 years ago.
Yeah, right.
8 years ago.
Yeah.
So and it only got finished a year ago in a new spot.
Yeah, yeah.
We had to move. After we built the first one, it was going. I still never jumped it.
Yeah.
And then then from there, because of an angry neighbour, it had to be moved. They moved it and made it safer, and now it's in a place where it's complete,
more permanent.
It's more permanent and it's safer. The gap there's no gap between it. There's no 64-foot drop, which it used to have into the creek bed, or anything like that. And now it's to proper size. The other one was 25-foot quarter, where the proper mega is 27. An extra 2 foot makes a big difference. So, and in that time, I would still fall down.
What do you mean?
I'd still fall down with my depression every once in a while.
Yeah. What does that look like when it happens?
I start to labour and start to be non-motivated and.
So your energy goes.
Yeah, and I can see it coming.
Do you ever get your sleep get fucked up, like you just can't sleep?
Yes, a lot. I'd be waking up halfway, waking up all times of the night, not getting much sleep, or I'd go to sleep really super early.
Yeah, and then wake up.
Yeah. And this is one of the other reasons, is I woke up on December. This is one of the reasons I rang you and Aaron. I woke up on December the 14th last year, and I was in the worst pain I've ever had in my life. I didn't know what it was, but my neck, all down my arm, I couldn't move.
Yeah.
I had nerve pain.
Yeah, right.
And I took some Valium, I took some Endone, I took Panic. Nothing was doing anything. Jesus. I went and saw an osteo and and he clicked my neck, and then I was seeing doctors and seeing what do you call it? Seeing physios. Yeah. And then, so that was over Christmas. I couldn't do a thing. I did nothing.
Wow. And
I'm like, wow, this is. I don't feel like I'm going to get ever better. So.
And so was it like chronic kind of pain? Sharp pain?
Sharp. all the way down my arm,
Whereabouts?
just through here.
Yeah, okay.
December the 6th,
Yeah.
I really had enough, and I started feeling like I was getting depressed
Yeah.
again. And I was
Yeah.
getting really depressed. So I rang my boss and said, I need to go to this doctor.
Yeah.
I need to go in there. He goes, yep, do it, go.
Yeah.
So I went and saw Olympic Park Sports Medicine.
Yeah.
Within 24 hours, that day I was in an MRI machine.
Mm.
The next day I had the results.
Mm.
And I was told I've got a bulged disc in my neck.
Yeah, right.
I really fell. Instantly, my depression really came back at me,
Okay.
thinking that I'd never be able to skate again.
Yeah, right. Just because they kind of said to you that you couldn't do stuff?
Yeah,
Or?
yeah. And I might need surgery.
Right.
So, and I might need to, I'd need to go see a surgeon.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I really fell again.
Yeah, okay. So just some bad news?
Yeah, bad news and
pain.
And pain. A lot of pain and not thinking, and having the fear of I'll never be able to be normal, like skate again,
Yeah.
like all that.
It's almost like
It was affecting my work as well. I couldn't move my arm properly. I'd last like a few hours on the keyboard and
Yeah. I think that like what kind of chronic pain is something that can make people depressed anyway. You know?
Yeah.
Like so having a history of getting down, already, and then having that on top of it,
Yeah.
I can certainly see, people do, commit suicide when they've got long-standing chronic pain.
yeah. But
It's
the thing about it was that people knew, because I'd been opened up about what happened before. I was able to talk about depression. People could see it.
Mm. Oh, you mean they could just see that you
They saw and go, "Are you okay?" A lot of
Okay.
people ask me,
That's
"Are you
good.
okay?"
Yeah, yeah.
Linda was always there,
Yeah.
like next to me, going, "You're going to be good. It's
Yeah.
all going to come through. You're going to be right.
Yeah.
We're going to get through this. You'll be able to skate again. You're able to skate again." And I'm like, in my head, I'm like, I've lost something in my life. I'm going to lose something. I'm not going to be able to do something. And I really started getting down.
Mm.
But I had really close friends, family. Family were all my family were seeing if I was okay. How's everything? How's the treatment? How you? What's happening with the physio? And I just was like, yeah. I was saying to them, everything's good. I'm gonna go perfect. Everything's gonna be all right. Everything's gonna be all right. Linda's like, we'll skate. You'll be all right. The physio, we're not gonna. And I went to a physio, and he's saying you're not gonna get surgery. As soon as I walked in and said, we're not gonna get surgery. I don't want surgery.
Slippery
I said to
slope surgery.
Yeah. I ended up, I don't need surgery.
Yeah.
I need to do my exercises. Right now, I'm getting a bit of pain in my neck from sitting here for too long.
Yeah.
But I was able to skate.
Yeah.
As soon as I hopped on my skateboard again,
So
I was stoked.
So it kind of, what it kind of reminds me of is that, it's not only it's great that you've come out and talked to people about it and that you're not hiding about sort of getting depressed. Taking medication fucking works. I don't care what anyone says. A lot of people say, oh, you're a pussy if you go on medication. Like if you get depressed and you're so fucking down and you're in a hole where, you can't move and you've got no energy and you're not eating and you can't sleep, and it goes on for longer than 2 weeks. You're depressed and you'll benefit from taking a tablet.
Yeah, but
the other thing too is that you need support.
Yeah, that's
and
the biggest part.
You've got Linda, who's your partner.
Yep.
Long-suffering but very
very
tolerant
suffering,
partner.
very tolerant.
What other things were the things that made a difference for you, Efi, as far as support goes?
Able to talk about it, mention it, say that I'm not feeling 100%, guys.
Not sitting it with yourself.
Not sitting with myself. Able to tell people I'm not feeling well.
Yeah.
And honestly, knowing now there is the stigma is kind of starting to disappear. Like years ago in 2000, when I first was diagnosed, I didn't want to tell. I wouldn't have told anybody.
Yeah.
I was ashamed.
Yeah.
I was ashamed that I was having to take a tablet.
Yeah.
And I would hide it.
Yeah.
I reckon Linda. I didn't tell Linda for a little while.
Okay. Yeah.
Would have taken me a fair while to tell anybody.
The silly thing is, though, with all this kind of stuff is that because it's a common sort of problem for people.
Oh, it's more common than I thought.
Yeah,
because
heaps more common than
the more
you think.
the more I admit to say the more I say to people I've had issues, the more people say I've had the same thing.
Which then,
but I've lost friends. I've lost friends as well from it.
That maybe didn't talk about it.
That didn't talk about it.
Yeah.
Probably didn't feel comfortable to talk about it. And that's what, like, there is help. So that's what I just want to finish. But there's help like Get Your GP. There's help like Beyond Blue, Lifeline.
Yeah.
Friends, family.
I think there's a lot of help out there more now than ever.
Yeah.
I think what I was saying before about the kind of experiences you have when you try and seek help can make it difficult. A lot of the thing, so work in public mental health services for most of my life, most of those services are based on risk, you know. So public health services, public mental health hospitals, they're not going to see anyone unless there's a significant amount of imminent risk that someone's going to take their life, or if someone's behaving in a way that they could accidentally hurt themselves, or they're at-risk kind of behaviour, whether they're kind of, you know, they're driving around drunk, they're kind of, you know, causing havoc in the streets. That's when those kind of services get involved. But the other pathway is, you know, sort of non-urgent kind of referrals is via GPs, you know. Go to your GP. They'll tell them what's going on for you. Hopefully they should ask. If you go and you've got a GP and they're, you know, there's different types of GPs. There's GPs that we go to for a sick certificate.
I've got three.
And then there's fucking GPs.
I've got 3 GPs.
Yeah.
I have my need a medical certificate because I'm sick for the day.
Yeah.
And it's or I've got my oh shit doctor.
Yeah.
Which is Olympic Park Sports Medicine.
Yeah.
Because that's my stuff up doc. When I've stuffed myself, automatically go there. I learned that lesson. I didn't do it for my neck fast enough.
Yeah.
And then I've got a doctor that I go and see for and have a longer consult if I require it for
mental health stuff. So yeah, that's what I'm saying. So GPs, you've got to remember, or jacks of all trade. Yeah. They're not specialists, and like a good GP is worth their weight in gold.
You can look up online. That's what I've done recently. Looked up online to find when all this neck stuff, found a GP that was more relevant, and it says some of them say on their website say they do family, child, all this.
They specialise in something.
Specialise in something.
Yeah, exactly.
And then there's other ones that say they specialise in mental health.
Yeah. So calling a GP is your kind of first place.
Yep, that's where I found.
Getting a referral to a GP, maybe seeing, they might see you for a consultation. They may refer you for psychological input, which is your Medicare mental health care plan thing.
Mental health care plan.
They may prescribe.
That's just a short. They ask you a short little survey.
Yeah.
To see how you rate on.
Yeah, they'll have a questionnaire. that helps them guide about how severe
and how that.
They might start you on an antidepressant, which, you know, if you're depressed and if you're anxious, you know, just try it. Just try it. And this is my golden advice about taking antidepressants, take them for 2 months before you even start to think about how good they are, whether they're effective or not, because they take anywhere between 6 to 8 weeks to work properly. You know, a lot of people, what their problem is they'll take them for a period of time and they'll think that they haven't seen the kind of, or subjectively felt the kind of response they want, so they say they're not working and they stop. Yep. You've got to take them, and even if they start to work and you feel, you know, different in the first kind of 6 to 8 weeks, keep taking it for 6 months. Yeah, because you're going to the benefit of taking antidepressants is going to take a while.
But then also, do not just stop taking them.
No, it's all really important not to stop taking them, because you'll go cold turkey. Yeah.
If you're going to stop taking them, you've got to do it in a.
You titrate down.
Yes.
So if you get up to a dose, then you might titrate it to half the dose as you come down. Yeah. In conversation with your doctor, with your specialist.
Yes.
And then you might go to like every second day. You know. Yeah. But suggest go see a GP. Get a mental health care plan referral, go see someone. If you don't like them, try see someone else. Yeah.
Yep, 100%.
If you've got some medication, take it for a good couple of months, yeah?
Yep.
Cut down on your drinking, because drinking's a depressant.
Horribly.
Horrible, yeah?
Yep.
If you need something to help you sleep, the doctor might provide you with that for a short period of time.
Don't take that too long.
What's that?
Don't take them too long.
No, and it depends.
I try to stay away from everything like that.
Yeah, well, there's other sorts of hypnotics or medications that help you sleep now that aren't addictive.
Yeah.
So, you know, before it was diazepam, temazepam, things like that. That can be
Benzos.
really addictive. Yeah, benzos. So you don't want to swap one addiction for another.
No.
Yeah.
No.
And then keep seeing someone. You know, have conversations with people who are around you that you trust, you know.
Yeah.
And I think most people who open up and talk about stuff like that feel immediately kind of better because they're sharing the burden.
Yeah.
They feel connected to people. You don't feel so isolated.
Yep.
You know. And I think most of the time people are pleasantly surprised by the response they get from people because it is so common.
I am.
Yeah.
I am. Like, but Josh, my friend Josh, he lost a friend.
Yeah.
Through it, and he started doing fundraisers for Beyond Blue. Like, he's very sporty.
Yeah.
He plays cricket, plays football. Yep. He's so he did a run the steps at the MCG to raise 14. I think him and a mate raised $14,000.
That's cool.
For Beyond Blue this one time, and showing that it's okay to it's okay to talk. He really he opened up to say, well, there's no stigma. And so he really opened up my eyes to saying that there is no stigma. He never suffered it. He's had friends that have.
Yeah.
It's like going, it's okay to talk. So
I think there's still a portion of the general population that kind of
still people will look
don't
at me
get
and go,
it.
people will look at this and say, maybe say, oh yeah, he's just whatever, he just skateboarding fixed him. No, it didn't. It was my friends, family, my mental health clans, my
There's lots of different things, but I think the thing that you kind of said as well, Efi, is it still happens some days, you know, and monitoring yourself and knowing what works for you, because what works for you
won't work for anyone.
Yeah, so the shitty bit about it is there's some trial and error along the way.
I've had a lot of trial, I've had a lot of error, and I'm still having trial and error.
But you're kind of fine-tuning it a bit better now, you know.
Fine-tuning, but yeah, just staying on top.
Yeah, and I think coming out and having this kind of conversation, I hope, you know, if it helps one person, that's amazing.
If I help one person, we've done. Yeah. I've done what I've asked to, what we've achieved, and I've also given my skateboarding.
Yeah. So look, just going back to the other thing too is if people have substance kind of stuff, if people kind of drinking a fair bit or using other substances on a pretty daily kind of basis, it becomes when using substances becomes dysfunctional is the kind of the key for that you need to get some help. So if it's affecting your employment, if it's affecting your relationships, if it's affecting your socialising, your functioning like that, you might need some input and some specialist care around that. Now, drug and alcohol services kind of work slightly different to getting a referral for a GP or for mental health services in the fact that no one's ever they can't put you in hospital involuntarily to have drug and alcohol stuff. You know, you have to want to be part of that process. So, and that's part of any referral to drug and alcohol services. If you need to be motivated at that particular time and have some insight and want to change your behaviour.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yes.
And you can't just ring up one day and get into a private kind of detox. Or you probably could get into a private detox if you've got private healthcare, but to get into a public detox or something like that, it's a bit of a process. But once again, be patient. There's services out there. There's usually, now there's kind of like 1-800 numbers you can often call in different areas depending on where you live in Melbourne and the city that you live in. And they'll triage it and they'll refer you to the kind of most appropriate service. But they will want you to keep ringing back. They'll want you to come in for an interview. They'll want to talk to you about your substance use, and then, you know, you might need to have a period of detox and maybe some rehab and some follow-up, you know. But I think the timing around substance use is a big one because some days people have a really horrible, they kind of get to the bottom of the barrel and they think, fuck this, I don't want to take this anymore. It's causing problems with my family and they want help. They want help then. But the process to get help for substance use takes a little bit longer and often then, 2-3 days later, people go, I don't want it now. Yeah, so it's this kind of ongoing kind of touching base with people, trying to make sure they're ready for it.
Yeah.
And you've really got to be ready for it.
Yep.
I think.
Okay.
Efi, is there anything else you want to say?
I'd just like to, I just want to thank, us being able to have this forum, Aaron.
Yeah.
For helping out, setting all these cameras up.
We're big on this idea, us guys that are doing this, because you know we like to talk about skateboarding.
Oh yeah.
But we're very interested in people, and we're very interested in people's experiences. And I think this is a really good example of being able to talk about some tricky and difficult stuff, you know, and bringing this to everyone else's kind of the forefront of people's minds to say it's okay to talk about stuff. You know, and I think one of the best things about skating for me is it's like a mobile men's shed.
It is.
And even though we're not...
And there's a lot more ladies doing it now too.
Exactly, yeah, sure. Yeah. I mean, that's the thing about skateboarding. You're welcome. Yellow, black, white, female,
doesn't matter.
Trans, it doesn't really matter.
Everyone's on a skateboard.
We're all
the same.
odd bods.
Yeah.
And I think the thing about skateboarding is we're active. We're doing something we like. We can dip in and out of conversations. We can meet people. We can kind of manage how much we want to talk with each other. If we start up some new friendships with people, we get to know people. Yeah. You know,
I met you
I think it's really helpful.
through the ASC.
Yeah. So I think that sort of stuff
is great. Met Aaron through Brunswick.
Through Skating Brunswick?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
So where to from here for you now, mate?
Oh, I'm just going to hopefully keep skating.
Yeah, and
keep skating as long as I can.
Try to work on your neck a bit?
I'm just doing physio for my neck.
Is this a really good time to try and plug your ramp design business?
Oh yeah, doing a lot of. Very good time at the moment. Yeah, I build skateboard ramps. I design them. I don't really build them as much anymore. I sell I get the transitions cut.
Yep.
Through work.
Yeah.
They've got the machinery, all CNC, and
so it all gets cut by special techie machines.
Yep. And I can make it to whatever you want.
So no more fucking killing 100 jigsaw blades trying to
no jigsaw blades. This is all routers and all that. Also, while I got the chance, thank my family.
Yeah.
Thank my family. Thank Linda. Thank Rob, my boss.
Your dad.
Yeah, definitely my dad. But yeah, Rob, my boss, for standing by me. All the Knox crew, they all know who they are. TWR crew, all ASC, the guys we hang out with, all the people I skate with, all the people I've ridden with. Anyone over the years that's had to put up with my shit.
Yeah.
That it helped me through.
Since all that stuff
There's just so many people I have to thank that I don't really want to use that many names because there's too many. Just
going back, you know how you made like some burnt some bridges?
Yep.
Have you been back and fixed any bridges?
Yeah, I'm nearly all my bridges I've burnt. I don't think there's only one bridge that I won't mend. But that's a different story. But all my other bridges,
Oh, that's good. That's good news, mate.
I think
Are you in a good place at the moment?
I'm in definitely a good place. I'm getting better. Getting with just having the neck problem going, I'm going to get through that, has really started to perk me up.
Yeah. And I think you get more skills under your belt the more kind of shit times you have.
The more shit times I get down, the more I know it's coming or I've had it.
You can do what you did last time. Yeah. That didn't work.
Exactly.
I think the thing is that when people get depressed and anxious and they haven't gotten through it, they can't see the way out. Yeah. But if you've been through it before, you can kind of look back after it's all over and go, fuck, okay, I'm out of it again.
Yeah.
You know? So that's one of the take-home, kind of the silver lining, if you like, of getting through an episode, I reckon.
Yeah. Cool. No worries.
Thanks, mate. Thanks, everybody, for having us. I hope you've enjoyed this conversation. We hope to be bringing you more Their Side interviews in the future. Big round of applause for Efi. Thanks, dude. I'm gonna elbow you. All right. Wash your hands. Stay away from diseased people. Do your social isolation, and we'll see you soon.
Yeah, was it okay?
Yeah, it was great. Really good.